Greetings, my lovelies. Hello, it's Emmy. Welcome back to another Prison Ramen recipe taste test. Prison Ramen is this book, and it is a book that is written by Clifton Collins Jr. and Gustavo Goose Alvarez. I actually had the pleasure of speaking with Goose via Skype, and he shared one of his recipes that is not included in this book, and it's smoked oyster ramen. So here I am today to share with you a very exclusive Prison Ramen recipe. Goose, thank you so much for your time and for sharing this recipe with me, and let's go ahead and get started. Like all of these recipes, the basic currency is going to be this, and this is instant ramen. Today I'll be using chicken flavor. Goose told me to find chili, but the usual place that I get that chili ramen was out, and then I went to 2 other stores and they didn't even have it. So I had to opt for my children's favorite flavor, which is chicken. And while I was talking to Goose, I did ask him which was better, top ramen or maruchan, and he said easily maruchan. So today at least I have maruchan. We're gonna rehydrate our noodles. I'm gonna use a bowl, and I asked if it was important if I crushed a noodle, and he said he actually prefers them whole. So I'm gonna do that. Put the whole little brick in there, and then pour in your hot or warm water. Your access to hot water is going to be dependent on your circumstances.
You know, in most prisons, you're able to have a stinger where you can boil water. Some prisons, you're able to have a microwave. If he doesn't have a stinger, that means he's in a really high place, high security place, where he has to his own stinger. If he has a stinger, he's in a low level prison. If he has a microwave, he's in Disneyland, basically. He's in, you know, a resort, prison resort.
So I'm going to set this aside. In the cookbook, they say about 8 minutes until the noodles are nice and soft. So while we're waiting for the noodles to cook, here's Goose with a few words.
And so I found that having spreads and ramen, talking to them about it, it was just like therapy. They were opening up. The Chino riot, the famous Chino riot that the book came from. This is where the book started. To think that a simple ramen was the equalizer between black and brown and saved each other from being destroyed.
The noodles are now cooked. I'm going to drain them. This is a pretty straightforward spread, but it does include some fresh ingredients, including cilantro, onion, and some jalapeno. And Goose explained to me that these were usually smuggled in from people that would work in the kitchen. And he said they would design special underwear where they could tuck in a few things like an onion and a chili pepper. The first thing we're going to add is the ubiquitous and very handy mayonnaise. And that's probably about a tablespoon of mayo. Now we're going to add about a quarter of white onion and a whole jalapeno chopped up. And then half the seasoning packet. Give that a stir. Cilantro. Can you hear the rain outside? It just started really pouring outside. All right, that means my rain barrel's filling up. All right, that's enough of that. Now we're going to add our oysters. Wow, those are pretty big. There's about 9 of those in there. I'm gonna drain out all the excess oil. Goose said place these on top. I remember eating these as a kid and then getting made fun of because they're like, what's that? If you've never had smoked oysters before, they're delicious. Next, we're going to add this, sambal olek. So I had to ask Goose, where do you find this when you're incarcerated? And he said that there's a commissary catalog that you can order food from, including this. A few dabs of that. All right, so there it is, the smoked oyster spread. While the oysters are not that attractive, they're kind of brown in color and shiny, but the sambal and the fresh cilantro are a really nice touch. I almost forgot to mention, if you haven't seen my other prison ramen recipe taste test, be sure to check them out in the playlist. All right, let's tuck into this. Make sure I get some of the sambal and get an oyster as well, and some cilantro. Itadakimasu. That's pretty good, Goose. And it's got a great amount of heat. That sambal sauce is pretty spicy. And then you've got the whole jalapeno, which adds a nice kind of freshness, a nice little crunch and additional heat as well. But all of it goes really, really well with the smoked oysters, which have a very strong, smoky, a little bit fishy, briny flavor to them, but very assertive flavor. But all that spice goes really, really well with the smoked oysters. Slightly metallic flavor as well, quite soft with a little bit of chew. The addition of the fresh ingredients in this spread totally make this work for me. The jalapeno, the onion, and the cilantro make this much more than just like an instant ramen. It makes it a meal. And that, my friends, is a tasty spread. Big thanks to Goose for sharing this recipe with me, and look for more prison ramen recipes in the future. Be sure to check out the prison ramen playlist, share this video with your friends, follow me on social media, and I shall see you in my next video. Toodaloo, take care, bye!